The new Walking Dead chapter for Dead by Daylight is really reinforcing easily one of the strongest survivor metas we've ever seen in the game's history. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why and how to completely counter this meta while playing as killer. So first we need to talk about the new survivor perk Conviction from Michonne. This perk allows a survivor to pick themselves up off the ground once they reach 25% recovery, which if combined with something like Unbreakable or Boon Exponential can be achieved in about 5 seconds. So if the killer breaks a pallet, a gen, hops over a window, looks around for another survivor planning a flashlight save or what have you, that's already enough time for the survivor to pick themselves up off the ground. Now additionally, this survivor can bring Soul Guard so that they have 10 seconds of armor when they pick themselves up, which there's a zero counterplay to because there's no way to tell that the survivor has armor, right? It's just invisible. Now, it is important to note that the survivor only has 30 seconds until they drop back down into the dying state. So that might not seem crazy at first glance, but it creates a no-win situation for the killer that is just extremely unfair. If the killer leaves the survivor thinking, well, the survivor's going to go down anyway, so I may as well go focus my attention elsewhere, that survivor could use something like Plot Twist to recover to full health, meaning all the chase time put in by the killer is completely negated, which is enough to lose an entire match over. But even if they don't have Plot Twist, they could still pick themselves up with Unbreakable, put themselves in a hidden position to be saved by a teammate, run out of an Exegate if you're in the end game, with armor, right, because of Soul Guard, or spend 30 seconds rushing a generator before they go into the dying state. There's just an insane amount of bullshit scenarios surrounding this perk. Also, if you decide to rechase a survivor you already downed, that's an additional 30 seconds, which is going to have severe ramifications with the other 3 survivors in the match potentially rushing generators. You might also say, Choi, can't you just run Deerstalker and go pick them up later like it's no big deal? But again, that not only still hurts your pressure significantly, but that's assuming the survivor doesn't hide their aura behind something like a generator or gets picked up before you're able to even get to them with something like We're Gonna Live Forever, Plot Twist, or Boon Exponential. Now remember, this new perk is stacking into an already busted healing meta where heals are virtually instant. If that's not enough, Franklin's Demise, the primary tool used to counter medkits and strong items in general, has been gutted in this update as it no longer damages items whatsoever once they're dropped on the ground. Even Overwhelming Presence, a pretty pathetic perk to begin with that increased item consumption rates by 100% within the killer's terror radius, was reworked entirely in this update too. So now survivor players are going to be emboldened to bring their strongest items. I know I am when I play survivor because I know there's virtually zero counterplay or risk of losing them to something like Franklin's Demise, right? So why virtually no counterplay and not actually no counterplay? The answer is Plague. Now you might say, Choi, how is Plague going to destroy the survivor meta? Well, obviously she dismantles healing just by existing, but more than that, in order for the new perk Conviction to activate in the first place, survivors must heal 1 health state of another teammate. And although it is of course technically possible for a survivor to heal a teammate even when playing against a Plague, if you follow my strategy in this video and use my build, it's going to be very difficult for the survivors to do that. So let's quickly go over the build, and it's also important to note that this build can be modified. If you find something that works better for you, by all means go for it, and let me know down in the comments what your version of the Choi Bonic Plague looks like. But for my build, we're using double Eries because they significantly punish survivor efficiency, which is the current meta. Chase doesn't really matter, it's all about Gen Rush, Shift W, and macro positioning. These add-ons are going to destroy survivors who refuse to adapt to this new situation. For the perks, we run Corrupt Intervention, Trail of Torment, Eruption, and Dead Man Switch. The goal of this build is to get everyone injured early on with Corrupt Intervention and Trail of Torment, forcing them to work on infected gens, and then Eruption and DMS are going to help us with punishing the survivor's efficiency. So essentially, we're going to have everyone injured with no terror radius, with their auras constantly being revealed to us, and we'll get Corrupt Purge every time they finish a generator. This will allow us to absolutely dominate the match by keeping the survivors completely off guard and severely punishing their attempts to be efficient. Now let's get into the actual strategy. It's a super simple formula. If you follow it exactly as I say, you should easily be winning the vast majority of all of your matches. Also, if you're on Steam and you want to be part of the movement, go ahead and change your name to the Bubonic Plague, just for fun, right? With that said, let's get into it. All right, here we go. The first thing you want to do when the match starts is look for your infected puddle. It's right here. We're not going to get it. Just keep in mind where it's at. After we do that, we're going to rotate around to every generator and puke on it. If we come across any survivors, we'll puke on them too. Before I didn't do it, but now I think it's the better move because we want to get them infected, right? We want to get them injured as fast as possible. That is the goal. So we don't chase, we just get them infected and then we move on with our life. Let's go ahead and get this Fung real quick. Where'd she go? Alrighty. So now we'll hit this and then we'll move up top and get that last generator. And we kind of just play it slow at the beginning because we're trying to get everybody in a really bad position. We're setting them up for a big snowball play, essentially. So we're gonna hit this now, even though there's a survivor up here, maybe even two doing that generator. They're immediately gonna have to get back on it. That may have been the Claudette to turn my Trail of Torment off, right? So they want to punish me. They turn my Trail of Torment off. This makes it where I can't sneak up on them, but it's fine. Let's get this triggered with Eruption. Now this girl's going down here. We see her aura because she's actually injured, so she's a one-hit down, and we have Corrupt, so she's in a really terrible position right now. Just gonna go ahead and M1 her. That's something you need to get used to, is you don't always have to down them with your Corrupt. You can just M1 them if they're trying to loop really tight or whatever. All right, so now we're in a golden position. What I want to do is, if it's possible, I want to try to get over to this gen that they're both on and DMS it. I don't know if we're gonna make it though. No, we don't. All right, that's totally fine. We're not even stressed a little bit because they're in a horrific position right now. We have set them up for failure, so we're gonna DMS that. And then we're just gonna go back over this hook that we got. Incredibly strong position. They can't get around me, right? They can't get around me. And I still have a little bit of time to even maybe get it down. But again, no stress, right? We have completely taken control of this situation. And now what the survivors need to do is they need to go cleanse, and then they need to come in and force a trade, right? That would be the thing they could do that would be really strong against me, but the survivors don't want to do that because it's not efficient. We're kind of breaking the survivor brain with this build. All right, so now they're going for it. They're going for it. They're desperate. Not cleansing because they don't want to give me anything, right? They don't want to give me anything. We have total control, and they're giving up, it looks like. One. Oh, that's two DCs. Delicious. And now Rick's the only one left. There's literally nothing he can do in this situation now. And just like that, it's over. So you follow the strategy, right? You play, you set them up for sort of this snowball, and you will get these absolute domination matches. And Claudette even had Unbreakable, guys. She even had Unbreakable. She still rage quit because it didn't matter at that point. It was over. Even if she picked herself up, there was virtually nothing they were going to be able to do to get out of this situation. And you basically just play out the matches like this. But I don't really think there's any reason to sit through the rest of this. We unfortunately have to play Cleanup Simulator now. So I'll just go ahead and cut that right on out for you. Because this match, did it ever actually really ever happen? Think about it. So as you can see, it just completely deletes even super strong players and makes them look like actual babies, because you're essentially removing everything they have to work with as long as you don't get tunnel visioned and are willing to play dirty. This way the survivors are forced to play your game. You're actually the power role with this build, and if you stick to the strategy. So go out there, spread the Bubonic Plague, and let's see as a community how fast we can get the devs to nerf nerf her into oblivion for having the audacity to offer actual counterplay to the current completely broken survivor healing meta. Now with that, make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, or a dislike if you say, hey Choi, why don't you get the fuck out of the building? You can go ahead and leave a dislike then. And as always, thanks so much for watching and have a good one.